we're talking about a lot of new industrial structures which are coming up, and they are much more flexible than you had in the last years, because we're changing from industrial to digital structures. And that means that we have left all these big structures we had in industry, but we're coming more and more to, we call it polycentric structures, which are very much smaller and can connect dots every day or every minute or every second even in a new way. So you have whole new appearances of your business nearly every move you make, and you can't really see it like in the industrial age, that there is this big far away horizon where you have to focus on, but it's always on the news and on the possibilities you have right on your hand, and that makes it different. As a futurologist, I'm trying to get by all these food trends to a new way of understanding our life and giving it new kind of food and life and economy quality, because there's a lot of new possibilities coming up, especially with local foods and all these stuff and all the possibilities you got through digitalization. And we have to find not just technology, but structures as well, plus technology, which makes it possible that you can use all these new possibilities in your daily life. And that's what I'm doing just right now, and doing for the rest of probably the next 10 years. There's so many things to do, and so many new projects and companies that will rise, and we have to integrate them all into our daily lives. And that's what I'm in. Yeah, there's a lot of new kind of structures where you're getting in, and so you have lots more of local produce of food and beverages, because the industry it's not just agriculture which is coming nearer to the cities again, but it's all the productions, because the production lines are getting much smaller. And when you needed the big line for bottling, which is about 200, 300 square meters, it's now just on about 20, 50 square meters, and you can do the same amount of bottles meanwhile, and it costs very much less. And because of that, and it's not just bottles, it's all over, that you have more production facilities and possibilities just right to your door. And by that, you need new kind of logistics to get all the food together, to get it to your customers, to your markets, to wherever you want it. And this brings a whole lot of new questions of how it will be delivered and how people can join it. And then in Copenhagen, we had an example of a new algorithm where we just read about what people will need in the next days, and to provide it just right to their doors, so that they, even from fresh produce, they can eat it just 12 or 24 hours after the produce is harvested by machines outside of Copenhagen, and then brought into the cities, to the supermarket, and then being on the table, which means that you have up to 90% more nutrition in the food, and that makes it more excellent, and you stay more healthy. And this is all these new possibilities which are coming up in small startups are on the way to go to the bigger companies now, and that makes it very interesting, because they're all scaling up. Because it changes everything, because you're coming from these big industrial production lines to the small lines where you have different ones nearly every day, and that makes it very special. You have to rethink the way food and beverages will be produced and will be brought to all your customers in the next few days. And well, that makes it very special, because a lot of people think, well, there's such a big processes, they won't change that quickly. But as we can see on some examples in this discussion, there is change already happening. And there's brands like a beer brand called Mikkeller from Copenhagen, which got fifth biggest brewing company in Europe within 5 years, without investing, without building up an own structure, just by using productions and logistics in a very new way. Well, that makes it very interesting, I think, for them. It sounds funny, but it's the United Nations who did the best job on it. And because they introduced the World Food Program, and as you may know, via the World Food Program, we can reconnect micro farmers to the global supply chain, because they invented a business which is via smartphone. And when you have lentils, for example, and you grow them in India or Africa, and you have a little smartphone edition which you put into your smartphone, and you have to soften the lentils, you have to cook them a bit, and then you can see the quality by pressing them into like when you have a wine meter, you have probably the same wine spectrometer, probably it's called. You have the same system now with lentils, and then you can they get all the money in cryptocurrency, because they wouldn't get a bank account, so they get all paid in cryptocurrency. So you see the quality as a dealer, which is brought together by the United Nations. They have a logistics system, which is partly by autonomous cars, meanwhile, in Africa. And it's 2.4 million micro farmers which are connected to this system right now. So there's big companies in Germany who gain about 30% of their lentil productions from these farmers already today. And this makes a big change, because you have you don't need these big farms anymore, so you can have little production lines, and you do something good, because all the people, these micro farmers, don't have just about $1 or $2 a day for living. They now have about $10 a day for living, which means they can build houses, they can send the children to school, and so they're really part of the business system again. And this is probably the biggest change we had. So new structures in produce, in logistics, in money, because there is new ways of paying them, and the quality control, and you get the whole bunch supported via the World Food Program. So you don't have to talk to everyone at once. So it's all connected together. And if there might be tomorrow 10,000 more, it's no problem. But if there is 5,000 who are leaving the system, it's no problem as well. So the system is very stable as well. So you're not quite like you have to deal with one big farmer, and you have to rely on him, but you can leverage whatever you need from day to day, and that's very big news for us. And there will be a lot of companies probably copying and pasting that for their own businesses. One dealer there is in Germany, this is BEVERAGE, and they are dealing with a lot of local farms and a lot of local businesses right now, and they're really going on a new way, and they're probably trying to reorganize the structure of food production. And because they're not selling every product to everyone all over Germany, but they're just selling it in local regions, very small regions, and they can have very small suppliers, and people love these products. And that is showing us something, that people love local products. And we see another trend where there are cities or regions where a lot of local products are bought by people. We usually have a very low criminal and unemployment rate, because people are much more connected to their region, to the people who are living there. So they're much more caring about what it is. So food production, if you do it local, has a social impact. And that probably is, one of the biggest reasons to do it, and to find all the new possibilities in production and in logistics, which is very important, because you have to get the produce to the people in the right time, in the right place. but it works today, and it's not a question of money. It's just a question of organization and clever networking. And of course, if you are dealing with blockchains, like Michaela's trying right now, so you don't even have to write an invoice, because when a beer is produced and controlled via blockchain and it's delivered to the brew house, the moment you open the tap, there's a smart contract behind, and everyone who's in the production line beforehand is paid, not just the one who sold the beer, who brewed the beer, but as well the ones who did the bottles, who cleaned up, who grew all the produce to brew it. And that makes a difference. So you're not just going to pay it once, but you have long holding structures where you get paid over and over again. And this is kind of changing. And it's not in all part of the food business scene right now, but it's coming more and more. It's not just the data we have in the food supply chains, but we have all the health data. When you have a look on your smartphone today, you see a lot of data already, which can support your idea of how to be healthy. And we will get a lot of more of these, and it will tell us more and more. And I've got an extended app where it tells me what I should eat the next day. So what proteins, whatever, because it counts my stress level, it counts on my how much I move throughout the day. So it collects all these data and then gives me an advice. And this is, well, today, to be honest, it's about 60-70% correct, but at least it's 60-70% correct, and it's even more correct than my 30% I had in my mind what I should eat. So it gives me kind of cool advice, and these data will be much more important for future food and beverage companies, because people will rely on it, or they will at least be inspired by it. They won't do anything which is on the watch, but at least they will have a look on it. And I don't just see what I should eat, but when I eat stuff, I see if it's climate positive or if it's climate negative. So it really sees, it can guess which brands I bought. I don't have to do a photo of everything or have to type in some information, because of all my data I'm supplying of where I move, how I move, and all that, it can guess what I'm eating. And this is at least just 70% correct, but it's just on 500 test arms today. If we have 1 million of these apps outside, we will have a correctness of about 85%. And then it makes sense, and you really see if the produce you eat is sustainable or not. And that will make a big change for food and beverage industry as well. And so automation is not just a process which you have in your production line, but you have in the interaction with society. And this makes a lot of sensors in the city very relevant to get the data from them to get into your production lines to produce the right products to the right time and deliver it in the right moment. And that will probably be the biggest change in the industries in the next years. One big point, and a lot of people didn't care about it today, but as you can see, we will get digital money. And this digital money, the EZB, will deliver a digital euro in 2026, maybe 2025 if they got quick. The US will have a digital dollar with 2025 latest. And this money is special because it doesn't have just a financial stream, but a data stream as well. And so all the supply chain discussions today, where you buy the products, where they come from, if they are sustainable or not, you can see it in the money where it has been bought. it will not be there from 2025 onwards for all places, but it will come as the first ones are doing it. I mean, Tesla is doing it by next year. It will show every part of his car if it's climate positive or climate negative. So people will learn that it's possible. And as soon the money is there, you can really have an eye on where the produce comes from. How are the people paid behind? Are they correctly paid? Do they have enough spare time? Do they have family time? Are they getting enough money? Whatever. And you can really see it in the final product, and that will change markets forever, because then people don't just count on the price, but they can see what they buy. They are not just have an eye on the advertising proposals and what they tell me about this company is good, but they can really see it on the price tag, and that will be the difference, and that probably is the biggest change, and it's coming in the next 4 years. Getting more people to use food and data for their personal health and for the health of society, because as it just starts now, and companies like this beer company like Mikkeller and the United Nations are giving good examples of how it can work. And there's all these regenerative agriculture farms we have more and more, who are building soil made out of good humus first, and then have digital technology to really pick the best plants, to really seed directly into the ground, to really grab the stuff by automatic harvesting systems. And all these new systems are very quiet. They see which produce is ready to harvest and which one needs a bit more time on the ground or on the bunch. And this will make, yes, our lives more comfortable, more healthy, and even the society more healthy, because, as explained, more local produce gives us more resonance to the way we live. So we lost kind of resonance in industrial age, because we didn't know where food came from. And now by all these data and by this new money, we will see where food has come from, how it is produced, what is in there really. And we can decide with the data we have from our health system if the data for us is matching with the data of the food we will eat. And it will not lead to we will just eat what our data tells us, but it will lead to kind of sensitivity, which we lost in the last 80 years of industrial food production, and now are getting better in the digital food production in a very healthy new way. And there will be a new kind of partnership between industry and consumers, and not just the consumers who has to rely on the industry, but they are more and more working together, which will make things, if you do it in the right way, more easy for both sides.